Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.B. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, host of a Totally Turtle Sports and Gaming YouTube channel, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight,
but those who worship evil's might.
Beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it's Master of the Core.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And today we got a little bit of everything for you. We got some more Judd Winnick Green Lantern from Green Lantern 146 and 147. And whatever happened to Guy Gardner after Our Worlds at War? Well, we got Action Comics 789 and 790 for you, so. We'll get into that guy stuff.
Yeah, the guy stuff.
Yeah. All right. So I don't think there's much news on the Green Lantern front.
No, I went back and looked over the John Stewart issue, and there's just a lot of it that didn't work for me. I keep wanting to like it. I really, really do. But it's just...
Have you been sitting there for a week flipping through it going, there must be more. There must be more to this.
I'm trying real hard, but it just, I don't know. It certainly wasn't what I expected, but it was not what I expected in a bad way. I mean, I don't know. We went over it and over.
Yeah,
it,
that's what I was afraid of. There was no definitive ending, and it's kind of setting stuff up. And it's like, are we ever going to see it paid off? Because as far as we know, Jeffrey Thorne's not coming back to the book. So
exactly. So what does it all mean at this point? I don't know.
Stuff like that, it always seems like to me, because it's, again, spoilers were at the end where he's like, I'm going to go find my wife. And it's like, it's almost like an exiting writer's always like, all right, next person in. I dare you, Philip Kennedy Johnson. I dare you to pick this up.
Well, and the thing is, at least in my interpretation, part of, drama is having to make a choice. He didn't have to make a choice. I'm just going to do both. Hyper time. Okay, what?
I know.
So that just fell flat for me.
And it's so weird. It's like that could be your last bite of the apple. It's like, why not pick a direction?
Yeah, pick both directions, I guess. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to derail us. Yeah. That was just on my brain, as you know.
No, that's fine. Like I said, there wasn't much Green Lantern news. Quantum Leap is back. Came back.
Watch the episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yes, indeed. I've really been enjoying that.
I was like, are they hinting at evil leapers? Is this what we're hinting at?
Perhaps. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly a non-sanctioned leaper that recognized Ben. So there you go.
And we never explained evil leapers, really. So.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible. But yes, lots of remakes because I've been rewatching Night Court because Lilith and I are going to talk about it on Salty and Petty. But then did you see the reboot coming next week?
Yeah. I'm going to have to give that a try, I think, because I remember watching Night Court as a wee lad.
Oh my God. I forgot like all the some of the famous faces you saw. Like I'm at the end of season 3. I forgot he's back for a return appearance. Brent Spiner as like the hillbilly guy. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. I do remember. I do remember the guy that suffered from tortosa nervosa or something like that. He spoke really slowly. It took him like 10 tries to get across, one of the biggest, busiest streets in New York or something.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a bunch of familiar faces. Like, what was it? Was it season 2 episode? They're like a professional wrestlers comes in the court. It's Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many seasons did it go?
Oh my God, it's like 8 or 9.
Wow. I'm
That's
gonna
what
have
I'm
to put that
saying.
on our watch list.
I might have to jump ahead because well, you know what? You can watch it with like just like small limited ads on through Amazon Prime. There's like a thing on there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's free. Like I said, you get like a minute commercial, like 2 maybe a minute commercials in the episode. That's it.
Awesome.
But
I'll have
yeah,
to give
like
that a try.
all the seasons are on there. Yeah, it's like 8 or 9 seasons. I was like, I don't know, I
Wow.
remember that.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm enjoying it. I was like, even if I don't watch it all before we do our episode on, I might just watch it again because.
Did you finish Quantum Leap, the original?
Oh yeah. I finished that before Christmas. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Heck, I was watching that every free second I had.
What was your opinion of
Oh, did you finish it?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
We got paused. We watched I was really looking forward to Kaleidoscope on Netflix.
Oh.
It's a heist show, but you can watch the episodes in any order except the last one.
Oh, I've heard this. I've heard about this.
And I mean, I was really, from a structural standpoint, that was really fascinating to me. And I think they really did a good job of making it such that you could watch the episodes in any order. However,
Oh boy.
spoilers, and you can tell me to shut up now if you want. But it is very, very bleak.
No.
Up until so we watched it in a weird order, whatever, because I think Netflix randomizes it or something. So up until the final 2 episodes, I was really liking what I was seeing, but then it got really, really dark and really bleak in those final 2 episodes, and I was just like, uh, it's every, from a reader standpoint or a viewer standpoint, it has to be worth the journey. And I don't know that it was because it was, I mean, I was thinking about it and I remember telling Stace, because we finished the episode, several days ago. And the next morning I got up and I said, I don't think I like how that ended. I don't think I like that. Because yeah, I agree. So, I mean, it's a really cool idea about modularizing your narrative, which I think is really cool. And that's kind of fascinating me too, because if you look back at, I'm gonna drop into Zelda now. If you look back at most of the Zelda games, there's a pretty linear narrative, although you can do kind of the dungeons almost in any order. But for Breath of the Wild, they really had to kind of modularize it even more because you could do the divine beast, or you could do this, or you could do that. So it's a lot more modularized, I think, than your typical Zelda, your previous Zelda game with all the dungeons and everything. But it's really fascinating because the structure required to make sure that, hey, this bit of narrative works on its own, but yet also feeds into this bit of narrative. But what if you do them in a different order? I mean, it's really fascinating to me. I'm weird, I know, but yeah,
No, I'm intrigued, but then it's like, it's really bleak.
Oh, it is. It's so bleak at the end. I really liked. I thought the cast was great. But the the choices they made in retrospect don't often make a lot of sense, I think, because there's a couple of surprises that pop up, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought that doesn't make any sense for that character to do that because anyway, there are some those last two episodes. There's some weird things that come up that I don't feel like are dealt with the way that they should have necessarily been dealt with. But that's whatever. It was still an interesting. It was still an interesting, I think, experiment. And my wife was like, "Well, why do they call them red? Why do they call it kaleidoscope?" I said, "Well, if they're going to number, you can't number it. You can't call it alpha, broad." So they made it number. They made it colors, and then that's where they got the name of it, is kaleidoscope. And I'm a sucker for heist movies too, so I feel like I was an easy mark for this, and it just didn't work for me in the end. But it was still a pretty cool try, and I think it was well done, but pretty bleak, pretty bleak.
Aw. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's what it is.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any new TV I'm watching. Nothing really.
We're watching the National Treasure series.
Oh, is that any good?
I really, really want to like it. And Stacey's like, I really, really want to like it too. And I think the cast is good. It's a bunch of attractive 20-somethings. It's kind of like a CW show, I guess, in that respect. But I don't know. It's maybe the way they structured the episodes. There's something that is bugging me about it. I just don't know exactly what it is, but we're going to keep watching it. I mean, there is apparently a National Treasure 3 movie coming out next year in 2024. The only reason I noticed that is because I did a search for National Treasure in IMDb and I saw National Treasure 3. So I'm wondering if this is going to feed into that potentially, because we got to see Riley, the sidekick from the movies, showed up in this latest episode. And I mean, and I like that character. So I don't know. It's weirdly paced. Maybe that's what's bothering me. I don't know. I don't understand some of the choices. So, we'll keep watching it and maybe they'll make sense in retrospect. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully. Oh, I know what I was watching like over my Christmas vacation. I was watching because it's free on YouTube again with some limited commercials. That original Transformers cartoon from the 80s.
It's so bad, but it's so good.
I know, yeah. It's still better than like Masters of the Universe and stuff, which I also watched as a child. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I mean, they were talking about energy, scarcity, and they were talking, maybe a little climate change in there too. I mean, it was ahead of its time in 1983 or 1984. Yeah.
Weather change, yeah, especially when Megatron tried to bring Cybertron into Earth's orbit. Yeah, talking about climate change.
I remember those. Are you still do you still bear the scars of the Transformers movie?
Yes, I'm telling. Yes, my mother took me to the movies. I'm sitting there and as an 8-year-old, and I'm just like, wait, Prime's not coming back. I said this scared me. That was like the first time I actually like saw like a death of like something I loved. I was like, wait, what? What? Mommy, why did Robot not come back?
We will bear those scars until we die.
That's right, Will. I remember. A lot of you have forgotten what Prime Day is all about.
Exactly.
Prime died for your sins.
The real meaning of Prime Day.
And it took him a little longer than Jesus Christ, but they did resurrect him the next season.
He did come back, yes. Indeed.
All right. I know we're talking Guy Gardner tonight, but should we jump into
what do you want to do first, man?
I was gonna say pick your poison because it's 2-2, but they can go either. Neither one has anything to do with the other one, so I mean we can.
Let's go ahead and get the Ion stuff out of the way. How about that?
Okay, even more than the Superman. Let's get the Ion out of the way. Okay.
That's right.
Yikes. All right. So, yes, tonight for the Green Lantern portion, we're doing Green Lantern 146 and 147. So, Green Lantern 146, March 2002, Hand of God, Day 1. Writer Judd Winnick, pencils Jamal Engel, anchor Al Williamson, colorist Moose Bauman, letterer Chris Iliopoulos, and editors Bob Schreck and Nachi Castro. The story continues on from the previous issue where we see Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, and we see Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, and recently Ion. He's laying in bed with his girlfriend Jade, sleeping. He's thinking about the events that occurred that day. As Kyle was reveling in his powers as Ion, as he's laying there, he's dealing with several problems all over the Earth with just his thoughts, and that's just Earth alone, not to mention problems occurring throughout the universe. He then recalls how his day started. After defeating Alexander Nero and absorbing the Green Lantern energy composed of the power of Oblivion and Parallax, he started going by the name of Ion. He appears in his new Ion uniform in front of his mentor Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, his friend, former Green Lantern John Stewart, John's girlfriend Miriam, and finally Jade. They are all a little bit confused as to what happened. They know all the facts, telling them how the power of the Green Lantern was lost, then absorbed by Parallax, who released it when he died, then becoming Oblivion, and then rejoining with the power of Parallax, all of which was absorbed by Cal, the entire power of the Green Lantern Corps in one man. Naturally, they are all surprised at Cal's transformation. Then Cal goes to work and tells his assistant and friend Terry to let Jade in, who has come to see how Cal's doing. Terry tells her how fast Cal is going and thinking that it's something in the food and that he's eating, and he wants some of it. He goes to Cal and whispers to him that he's been using his new powers to do his work. He tells her that she doesn't need to whisper as he's used his new powers to block the sound waves from traveling to Terry. So Terry looks over. What he thinks they're just like mouthing to each other. He's like,
I got it.
I'm just, Astonished by his new powers, Jade is confounded by the number of abilities Cal has gained since his ascension, to which Cal tells her that he can do a lot more, including accessing a greater part of his brain that's connected to creativity, allowing him to focus more and more on his work, without the distractions of random thoughts. Suddenly, Terry tells them to look at the TV, which is showing Ion flying around, with the announcer saying that Ion has sent personal meals to tens of thousands of impoverished Africans, has even altered the soil, making it more fertile. The world is just utterly astonished at Ion's new powers. Jade asks Terry when this happened, but Terry tells her that it's happening right now. But Jade is astonished because Cal's in the room with her. After asking Terry to get some more coffee, Cal tells Jade that he's doing both things at the same time. He's standing in front of her and he's providing aid to the people of Uganda as well. But he also tells her that he's doing other things as well. When Jade asks him what he means, he tells her that he's not just in front of her and in Uganda, he's elsewhere as well. We then see a drive-by shooting 40 blocks away from where Cal is. A group of gangsters try to shoot a dealer who stiffed them, but Ion stops them. The scene then jumps to Mexico City, where we see a truck about to ram a supermarket store with 117 people inside. But the truck stops just before it hits the store, and when the people look, they see the driver standing next to the truck and seeing Ion flying away. Then we see a group of bank robbers who are attempting to rob the First Bank of London in England. Suddenly, they disappear as Ion teleports them to a jail a quarter mile away with the surveillance tape in the hands of the police captain. Then it jumps to Boyden, Iowa, where we see a farmer and his tractor. When the ground under the tractor breaks apart, threatening to take the tractor and the farmer down. But before he falls, he finds himself in his tractor on the road beside the hole undamaged. And that's just Earth alone. In space, above the Earth, the space shuttle Venture has been having difficulty closing its bay doors after connecting with a Russian satellite, which was rectified without incident. Then a rogue band of Soltarian air fighters attempted a mutiny on their homeworld. Their thrusters lost control above orbit, but they were captured before anyone was injured. We then see a place called Tendax, which is a pleasure planet known throughout the universe. Remember, kids. However, the planet has a history of civil war, one which has reemerged after a 5-year truce. Cal and Jade were once on the planet a while ago. Scroll down a few weeks ago, when the capital city was attacked by terrorists and their elected world leader and his family were assassinated. Cal and Jade did their best to stop the war, but it was too much for their abilities and they left the planet. But now that Cal has gained more powers, he has returned to the planet to end the civil war. He has gathered the leaders of the different warring factions. They are all honored to see him, but the peace talks have not gone well. In fact, they tell Ion that they haven't had any talks and that the fighting has escalated so much that talks have become futile. But then one of the leaders makes insult to one of the other leaders and they start arguing with each other. Then Cal tells them that it's done, with the leaders thinking that he's talking about the arguing, but that's not what he meant. He tells them that he's ended the civil war. The leaders are undoubtedly confused as to how he could have done that. He tells them that he's removed the people's ability to fight, disabling their weapons and bombs. He tells them that if any of them try to start a war against the others, then he will be there. The warring sides are having trouble figuring out where their enemies are, but one group manages to find another and they open fire on them, but they find green shields reflecting the laser bullets. They then find Ion floating above them. Some of the fighters are trying to steal a car by smashing its window, but Ion finds them and takes the piece of metal and melts it in his hands and then disappears. The leaders of the planet sit down again and try to negotiate an end to the civil war. Jade is astonished at how Cal can be on Tendax and in front of her at the same time, but Cal tells her that he's not just in front of her and on Tendax. He's dealing with multiple other problems on Earth and throughout the universe. He's no longer bound by time and distance. The only limit he has is his own will. Jade tells him that this is not normal and that with the way he's been going around lately, people will start attributing him to God. But Cal tells her that he's not God. He merely holds the power of the Green Lantern, putting him with all the other big boys. But he's still him as he was before. Jade notices that he's cut his hair and messes with it. They then decide to go to the movies, with Jade making Cal promise her that he won't have any forms of himself all over the universe. He promises her, but lies to her since he has no choice. We then see Kyle back in bed as we see him at the beginning of the issue. He realizes there's only one thing he cannot do, and that is sleep, which he didn't see coming. Well, could be worse, kids. He could be that bastard Hal Jordan.
That's right. Who wasn't up to handling the power.
That's right.
Slacker.
Couldn't even handle it for 3 issues. Come on.
Not even one issue. It didn't get it until the end of the second one, right? The third. He got it in the third. So yeah, he couldn't even handle it for one.
He decided at the end of the first one. He flew to yeah. Remember, he had all the rings.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So William, thoughts?
It's an interesting way to illustrate just how much power is in the central power battery. I think, right? Because you never really got that from Parallax. It's just Hal doing the same old Hal stuff except with time travel. Right?
Yeah, he was just all obsessed with like altering time and
Mm-hmm. But I mean, obviously, Winnick is saying the power works this way. I don't feel like the power works this way. Obviously, I'm wrong because hey, this was published and this is canon. So,
but it's just so weird. It's so weird too because they keep throwing Oblivion into the mix, but wasn't Oblivion just like him taking like some doubts and fears and dark thoughts
and took lots of power? I guess. And and his power battery is a shard of the central power battery, so it's very, very powerful as well. And then all of how there's a line when he talks about Hal.
That bastard.
Now, was it in the next issue or this issue where he said he'd saved the sun, and then it talks about the Milky Way? I'm like, wait, he didn't save the Milky Way. He saved the Earth, one planet, one sun, right? I didn't understand that line at all.
Is it kind of saying, oh, hey, he saved the whole solar system because the whole thing would have frozen over if he hadn't reignited the Sunners? I don't know.
he specifically mentions the Milky Way, which is the galaxy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I did anyway. That I completely was like, what? I don't understand that line. Maybe I'm just being an idiot. Wouldn't be the first time today. So, um, it. I like the structure of the issue.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the end of the first day, and then it ends with back at the end of the first day. And we get to see how he's using the power differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I see where he's going with this, but it's to me, it's just not very compelling. And
Yeah.
maybe that's on me. I'll cop to that. It could totally be on me, but it's just not. It just doesn't seem very dramatic. It just doesn't seem very, you know, involving.
Yeah.
It's a series of events versus. It seems like a series of events versus a story. I just don't.
I mean,
I
it's
thought
part.
this. I thought this issue was a bit better
Yeah.
than previous issues, but that's maybe damning with faint praise. Pardon my French. So
Was it him just like trying to like boost up Kyle Rayner too, where it's like, oh look, he can control this power, and like some people.
yeah, I honestly wasn't reading it like that, because there was a very specific reason for the Hal stuff, but I mean, if you look at the build-up, the whole fight with Nero
Yeah.
that ended last issue, right?
Yeah.
What happened to Nero? What happened to any of it? I mean, there was really no. I mean, he's Ion. Yay. Okay, great. What is that?
Yeah, we don't see what happened to Nero, but I assume, I mean, with the trick we saw him pulling in this, I mean, he would have probably had put him back on Earth and locked him up. So.
Or what happened to that ring? Or the Cordians? I mean, there's. It's like, oh, this happened, and now we don't care about that. Now this is happening,
Yeah,
and are we going to care about it next issue? I mean, I don't know. So it's.
yeah, it's been so long since I read this. I can't remember if we can ever get back to that Nero stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was just. It's not like it was there organically. It was there very specifically for a purpose for this story, and then as soon as that purpose was served, it's completely discarded, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and sure you can do that, but it doesn't. It makes it feel, I guess, less like a story and more like, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. At least in my mind, and I say this, I really, really want to like this, but
yeah.
it's just not. It's not really doing it for me.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the issue was a little better, but it was just a bunch of, oh, look what I can do. Look what I can do.
Yeah. I mean, and I think what helped it for me is that it does have a stronger structure.
Yeah.
It does have, because we have a beginning, and we have the structure of the day providing us with, a narrative unit here. Whereas a lot of I think earlier issues don't necessarily have the benefit of that structure. So maybe that's why this one's better, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
The next issue, let's see. Did you just do 147 or no
I just did
146?
146. Yeah, we still got to do 147.
The next one,
John Stewart. Yeah.
I was okay. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to shut up now.
All right. Let's get through this. Yes. Green Lantern 147 from April 2002. Standing Up. Writer Judd Winnick. This time penciler Dale Eaglesham. Inker Rodney Ramos. Colors Moose Bauman again. Letters Kurt Hathaway. And editors Bob Schreck and Nachi Castro. John Stewart is talking with the current Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner.
They talk about John's paralysis, how Fatality told John that she had the ability to see weaknesses in forms of vibrations and colors, and how she cannot see any injury to his spine. John doesn't believe Fatality's claim, but Cal tells him that Fatality was telling the truth. John asks how Cal knows this. Cal tells John that as Ion, he has greater senses. He tells John all that's there is a small patch of energy from Parallax that healed him, gave him the ability to walk again, and he later dispelled after fighting Parallax. Cal believes that energy was blocking the nerve impulses to the vertebrae that affect his walking. John asks him if he, as Ion, can remove the blockage, but Cal tells him that he removed it yesterday. Astonished at this revelation, John asks Cal to leave him alone. John then tries to stand up and walk again, but he eventually loses feeling in his legs and falls to the ground. John then goes to see Dr. David Nephew, a psychologist. John tells the doctor that he's had a full day of going to 2 specialists, 3 MRIs. They all tell him that there's nothing wrong with him, but he still cannot walk. Dr. Nephew tells John that in order to figure out what's wrong with him, they have to go inside his mind and into his past. John tells him that everything about him started when he was young. He was 15 and took his aunt's car for a joyride. A drunk driver ran a stop sign and they crashed into each other, which totaled his aunt's car. After the police came, his aunt came and yelled at him. He also reveals that his little brother Damon was in the car with him. Damon wasn't hurt in the crash, but the only one in the car that did get hurt was a puppy they had. After the crash, John straightened his life out, graduated from college, and became an architect. He even got hired at a firm, but he was laid off from his job after 8 months, not because he had the least experience, but because he was black. He tells him that when he became Green Lantern, he got over the emotional stress that he had gone through. He tells him about his time as Green Lantern during the time when the planet Xanchi, which we'll get there, blew up because of him. He feels that the reason why he's still in a wheelchair is about what happened to Xanchi. But the doctor points out that if he's gotten past Xanchi and forgiven himself to a certain degree, then why is he still unable to walk? John then finds himself in some unknown place. Dr. Nephew appears and tells John it's time to find out everything. John then finds himself in his Green Lantern uniform and walking again. He is then asked about how he felt when he became Green Lantern. John tells him that becoming Green Lantern was the greatest thing that ever happened to him. He felt that he wasn't worthy of the Green Lantern ring and that he wasn't the first choice. He felt like he was the last and least popular choice to deal with the problems that the Green Lantern Corps faced every time. Oh, don't say that. That was Guy. When people saw him, they didn't see Green Lantern. They saw the black Green Lantern, the difficult Green Lantern. Again, Guy. He wasn't Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner. Oh, God. But where did that leave him? John then talks about his father, how he always instilled him with the idea of contempt for society, but he proved himself to be better than his father. Then John finds Hal in his original Green Lantern uniform standing behind him, telling him that he's always tried to help. But John tells him that in the past they have fought against each other, citing the differences between the two. He turns around and then finds Hal in his Parallax uniform. He tells John that in the end he helped out when it counted the most, to which John can't argue with. John then finds himself in the hospital bed with Parallax standing beside him. Parallax tells John that he gave him the ability to walk again, but he refused them. John tells him that he hasn't refused them. He wants to be whole again, to be Green Lantern once again. But he wasn't meant to be, to which Parallax takes the fault for that. John then tells him that when Oa was destroyed to stop him, he took away John's ability to fight for good, and that he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to find his way back to the life of a hero. But when he joined the Dark Stars, he was given a second chance at being a hero, and when he was with the Dark Stars, he became something bigger than he could have been in the Corps. Okay. He was their leader. He even fell in love with a woman from another world, Mirren. Being in love, being the leader of an organization dedicated to fighting for good was the greatest thing John could ever hope for. But John turns around, and instead of finding the doctor behind him, he finds Graven behind him, and they fight each other. John manages to defeat Graven, but at the expense of his legs. John then finds himself back inside his mind with Dr. Nephew. The doctor tells John that they are close to finding out the truth as to why he cannot walk again. He tells John that every time he comes to see him, he repeats the same story over and over again, but he tries to forget it. John, however, remembers exactly what happened. He finds himself in the car that he crashed. He's sitting with his brother. They were just driving down the road to the diner to get some food, saying they should have walked instead. When the doctor asks who they are, John tells him that it's him, his brother, and the puppy named Rose. After the crash, John finds out that Rose is dead. John then attacks Dr. Nephew, telling him to leave him alone, that he wants to go home. But the doctor tells him that he's at the answer. It's right in front of him. John then remembers what actually happened the day of the crash. It wasn't the puppy that died in the crash. It was Rose, John's little sister. Now that he's remembered everything, the doctor tells John to awaken. Back at Dr. Nephew's office, the doctor tells John that now that he knows, his life will get easier from that point on. Then at John's apartment, Dr. Nephew's talking to Mirren. It appears that the doctor had to sedate John, but it won't be for long. When Mirren goes to check on John, he is walking again. John then hugs Mirren and asks Mirren to forgive him for everything that they've been through recently. Here we go.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is him being responsible for the death of his sister, is that a Winnick creation? Or has that always been, has that been a previous part of his backstory?
I don't remember that ever or since. Do you?
I don't either. So okay,
I just want to know why Winnick ripped off a episode of MASH.
I was gonna go there too. Yeah,
It was the chicken.
it was a chicken. I tell you, a chicken. Yeah, I feel like this did kind of a disservice to John. Why does he have to have such a why? There's enough tragedy in his life already.
Yeah.
I mean, Zanchi, Katma. I mean, the mosaic.
Why couldn't that have been the trauma? Be like, you got to forgive yourself for Zanchi. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, having him be responsible for the death of his sister.
Again, have we even mentioned that brother and sister before? Or since?
His sister was brought up in the JLA thing, remember?
Oh, yeah.
The world without the JLA.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Was her name Rose?
I can't remember.
I'd have to look. I'd have to grab that
Yeah.
issue. I don't have it handy.
But how cool would that have been if they were the trauma he had to get over was like, yeah, no, you weren't there to defeat Hal Jordan and save the Corps. You have to get over that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this was unnecessarily mucking with John's backstory.
Or was it an easy fix where it's just like, oh yeah, he can walk. Oh yeah, he's fine. He can walk now. It's just he had to get over this psychological trauma.
But there's so much other psychological trauma. Why introduce new stuff, right?
And again, if you want an easy fix, can't you just be like, oh yeah, parallax's cure finally took effect?
Or Kyle's just took effect. It took it 2 days. He did it a day ago. It took 2 days.
That's right. I feel him. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I felt like this didn't seem like John to me. I mean, of course, I'm comparing the John of post rebirth, I guess, to this John, and this John it just doesn't seem like the same character. I mean,
or even Mosaic. Go backwards. Even Mosaic.
Yeah.
It seemed like the same John Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, there are obvious plot mechanics that are in effect for him not being Green Lantern, but John Stewart, in my mind, would not have turned the ring down if Ganthet would have offered it to him.
Oh no, yeah.
And neither would have, and Guy Gardner would not have turned the ring down if it would have been offered to him.
But again, we got that retcon story where Ganthet did offer it to Guy. Why didn't he offer it to John?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. This just doesn't ring true to John. And this is a nitpick, so I'm going to go straight on nitpicky. For the first 4 or 5 panels, I thought he was talking to his nephew. I'm like, what? Dr. Nephew? Is that a nickname for your nephew? What are you talking? It's such an unfortunate name. Why would you pick that name?
Dr.
Let's
Nephew.
let's call him, his last name's Father. Dr. Father. What? I'm like, I just
It's like your
that
nephew. It's like your 8-year-old nephew runs in and goes, "I'm a doctor." Okay.
yeah, okay, Dr. Nephew. I was like, I mean, that took me out of the story for, I'm like, wait, what? Okay, oh, it's a real doctor that's
Yeah.
called, his last name is Nephew. Okay.
I was gonna say,
That was just
why would you choose that name? Is it a joke, or did John Winnick know someone named Doctor Nephew, or someone with the
maybe.
last
I
name
mean,
Nephew? I don't know.
I have no clue. It was just a really, really unfortunate name because
Yeah.
it threw me out of the story for a minute. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, okay, so he has a sister or a brother, and this is their nephew, all grown up and is a doctor now. Okay, I'll go with it. Cool. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's just a guy named with the last name of Nephew. Okay, cool, 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 cool.
Dr. Nephew.
Doctor Nephew. I mean,
Again,
uh,
I think Judd Winnick is setting up, or spoilers, after we get past 150. It's like, I think it's like 155, 156. Cal makes another copy and of like
mhm.
Jade and gives it to John. It's like, it's almost like, oh hey, yeah, John's gonna watch Earth for them when they leave, and it's like almost like John's like, oh, he has something to prove that he can be a hero again. I'm like, what does John have to prove? He doesn't have to prove anything.
He's been a member of the Corps. I mean, he's
The
been a
Dark
freaking
Star.
Guardian. He's been the Dark Stars. Yeah, I mean, now one thing that I did notice in this that I liked, which I feel like later writers have leaned way too heavily on, is that it doesn't mention any Marine background. It doesn't mention any armed forces training or anything like that, right?
That's what I like, because I'm like, we have enough of that, especially in the
Hmm.
core. I'm like, yeah, I always like when John's like just the architect, and he's like the brains out of all of them. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's bad to have him, have
No,
been
no,
in
no,
the
no, no.
Marine
Yeah,
Corps or
yeah.
whatever,
But
but it
it's
just seems
something
like
different.
a lot of writers make that his defining characteristic, and I feel like he's much more interesting as the architect,
Yes.
the maker. But
Especially,
that's
especially with the or Green Lantern ring. Yeah.
mhm.
Like if you want to make like a street level guy like a Marine, yeah. But it's like, yeah, you have a power ring. It's like, yeah, maybe a architectural background will help.
Yeah. I mean, and you get that spoilers. You get that great scene in Rebirth where Hal shows you how each of them differently use the ring and why they use it differently, which is just great. I mean, it's like a 2 or 3 page sequence that gets at the core of each of those characters, which is, I think, really amazing.
I don't think we even have to cover Rebirth, because I think over the past 102 episodes, you've spoiled every single moment for
Everything.
Rebirth. So yeah, kids, just go back and re-listen to the last 101 weeks, and you probably have out of order like every single moment
Everything.
from Rebirth.
I did tell. We don't know who the villain is. Shh. No spoilers.
I thought we said that, but yeah, this whole thing was just even the first time this was weird to me, and I'm just like, really?
Well, and honestly, I have to let's think about this structurally for a second. Okay.
Structure?
140, 140, 145, Kyle becomes Ion.
Yes.
146, we see him doing things as Ion. We see him lie to Jade about the power.
Yes.
In the very next issue, he makes an appearance in a panel. Okay, you've set all of this stuff up, and then suddenly, boom, we're going to completely derail everything that's going on, and we're going to talk about John Stewart at a really weird moment. I mean, I feel like that why not do that before, or why not do it later? Why right there? It doesn't make a lot of sense to put it right there structurally to me. Now, granted, I haven't read
Yeah.
148, 149, or 150 yet, so maybe it'll make more sense after I've seen those. Or don't even donate a full issue to it. Spread it out over parts of 147, 146,
Like,
147, 148. Make it a subplot
yeah.
that's going through. But to just
Yeah.
completely derail the main plot and talk about John, it's a weird choice that I just don't understand.
I mean, again, I don't mean to be that guy, but like earlier comics, maybe even like in the Ron Mars run, you would get, every issue you'd get some John Stewart, some Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And and I really think that is that type of writing it takes a certain skill level that I think Mars certainly had that Winnick is probably working toward, I think. I mean, because I think this is his first really, real superhero work or monthly comic work for that matter. If
It might be,
I,
yeah, because this is the first I remember seeing his name like in reading anything of his. So
yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying, oh my God, he's bad. He's never gonna, I think he's getting better, but I really feel like this is something where editorial should have probably been helping more than perhaps if they were. I mean, I don't know that I really don't think Mars necessarily needed that. He had been doing it for a while, and he did it he did it for a very long time. And there's a simplicity to Mars's work that I think is very, very difficult to achieve. Uh, it, it, it's hard. It's hard to make it look that simple. And I think we're seeing Winnick maybe, telling the story he wants to tell, but maybe not as skillfully as it could potentially have been told,
yeah,
And this is 30 years later, so, obviously he's still a writer and he's still working. So
and
hopefully,
and again, I don't know if it's editorial or if it's like maybe he was feeling intimidated. I mean, to fill in for to take over after Ron Mars.
Mhm.
I mean, he basically created Cal, so it's like
Yeah, 7 years going on 8, right? Or
Yeah.
6 going on 7. I can't remember. It was a long time.
But I mean, you're Judd Winnick comes in. He's basically the first guy to write Kyle Rayner, who's not Ron Mars or Grant Morrison.
Yeah. Who? Some guy, Grant Morrison. Have we ever heard
Yeah,
of this person? Uh,
and
I don't
then who
know.
took over JLA after Grant Morrison? Mark Waid.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I understand what he's trying to do,
Yeah,
but I feel like it could be done with a little more subtlety and and perhaps a little more simplicity to be better. And again, this is armchair quarterbacking 30 years later, right? So, or 20 years later at this point. So, I it just feels clumsy in places.
yeah.
Can I say that? I think I'll say that. Yeah.
All right. Well, here let's jump into because we have another story to tell tonight. Will
All right. Yes, we do.
again, everyone wants to know what happened to Guy Gardner. Which again, before we even get into this, isn't that weird? Where it's like everyone assumed Guy was dead, but like Cal's not talking about it, John's not talking about it.
Yeah, you would think Jade's
I
not
mean,
talking about it.
I mean,
Alan's not talking about it. Yeah.
the guys they had like a weekly like drinking session all the time, and all of a sudden it's just like who guy who
Guy.
we don't even get that. It's just they don't talk. It's like
Okay, did we read the Our World's at War special of Green Lantern already, or is that on
yes,
the?
no. We did the Greenland. Yeah, remember?
Okay, I can't remember what happened in that. Please refresh me because I know I read it. I just don't remember what
Remember
happened.
by Superman's request, he went to Pluto and
Oh yes,
the whole Sinestro thing, and yeah.
yeah. Okay, now I remember. I
Remember,
totally.
like I said, Cal did not play a big part in it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you blink and you missed it. But
Hmm. Okay, so thank you for reminding me because I had
yes,
completely forgotten that story. Planet Pluto's gone. Oh no, he's going to recreate it. Oh wait. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I remember now.
can't fit. Something dangerous is coming. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but something dangerous is coming.
Ooh, spooky.
All right. So yes, we're gonna find out about Guy Gardner, kids.
So, do Do we know when Guy appeared during Our Worlds at War? Did he actually appear?
I think he was. Yeah, he was. Like I said, he didn't appear a ton either. He was like background, but yeah, like they basically made him cannon fodder because, as they say in this story, he does appear like he gets killed by one of those Imperix probes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I don't think he like gets impaled, and then I don't think they really show you after that.
Okay. Wow.
So I don't know if someone just tried to make him cannon fodder, and someone was like, no, we can't kill off Guy Gardner.
I'd be curious about the reasoning behind that.
I know.
I mean, granted, this Guy Gardner, I don't necessarily love, but I like him a lot better than the Guy Gardner pre Guy Gardner year one.
Yeah.
Pre Emerald Twilight, basically. But then the guy post Rebirth is pretty darn awesome. So yeah.
All right. So Action Comics 789, May 2002, Man and Beast, writer Joe Kelly, penciler Pascal Ferry, inkers Scott Hanna, Mark Morales, and Keith Champagne, colorist Moose Bauman. Ooh, Moose Bauman again on colors, letter Comic Craft, and editors Eddie Berganza and Tom Palmer Jr. In a lava-filled crater, a shadowy figure taunts Cancer about being ugly, about being forgotten by Superman. Meanwhile, Clark Kent plays catch with Crypto. Lois asks about how the dog had been trained, and Clark tells her he did it in the time most people would be sleeping, as he doesn't need any sleep. Crypto seems more in control of his doggy self, that is, until he runs off into the trees barking. Cancer, with a K, regards Crypto with curiosity. And
I don't know that I was reading Action at this point. What is Cancer?
This General Zod, which we'll get into him, it's so weird, but it's like basically infected Superman almost like with like a synthetic kryptonite cancer. And like
and this is
Dr. Hamilton was able to pull it out, and like this thing with Zod's help, basically this cancer basically evolved into this creature. And now Superman's like his father because he came from his body,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
2002,
cool.
kids. In Pakistan, Zod lectures his underlings when they report to him that they have engaged neighboring forces, causing the death of 15 Pakistan soldiers. The responsible party for the order is killed mercilessly by Zod. Feora jabs at Zod verbally, but Zod is more concerned with a hole in the ground. The hole Cancer had just left from. The hole he had just sent Ignition to find. They regard a screen with Kryptonian writing and receive a transmission from Ignition stating that Cancer is gone. Cancer, meanwhile, slaps Crypto around. Cancer wonders about Clark's second skin. Superman flies up and attacks Cancer, asking how he found him in his guise. Cancer tells him that they share a bond, calling him father. He asks why Superman is attacking him. Cancer wonders why he refused his bond. Superman says that his kin would never murder or maim or do any of the things that Cancer has done. Cancer tells him that he knows little about his own blood, launching a bus at Superman. Cancer grabs Crypto while Superman stops the bus and tells Superman to punish his dog. He came to speak with Superman, not fight. Superman asks why, to which Cancer then pauses and admits that he doesn't know. Cancer tells Superman to choose Crypto or him to be bonded with, and he will tell him how he found out who Clark is and why. Clark tells Crypto to speak, and Crypto barks loudly, forcing Cancer back. Cancer is distraught that he means less to Superman than a dog and leaves. Meanwhile,
it's Crypto. Crypto's not just a dog.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Meanwhile, Ignition informs Zod that Cancer has betrayed him, and Zod leaves to check out the hole in the ground.
Superman. The hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Superman. Oh my god! And then Ignition, who I believe springs from Emperor Joker. Did you ever read Emperor Joker?
I don't. Maybe. God, it's so long ago.
It crossed through all the Superman books. Basically, I don't know how they were. Joker basically talks Mr. Mxyzptlk into giving him 99% of his power. So Joker, warps the world. Now Superman's like a criminal and stuff who like has to escape Arkham and stuff. And every night, no matter where you're at in the world, you hear screaming. Yeah, every night the Joker kills Batman by Ray's gonna love this. Joker kills Batman every night. Basically has crows rip him apart, and then he resurrects him the next day to kill him the next night again. The man doesn't hold a grudge or nothing, does he?
Batman,
No.
my favorite character.
There you go, Ray.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so, and I believe the Ignition came from Emperor Joker, but then when the world went back to normal, Ignition was still around. So
Okay, cool. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it.
oh, that's the thing. That's the other thing. It's like when the world went back to normal, Batman was like so scarred from like being killed over and over and over again. Like he couldn't function. So was it the Spectre or somebody or the Phantom Stranger? Somebody, Superman says, "Give me his pain. Take his memory of it. Give me his pain, and I'll carry it." 2000s, early 2000s.
Okay. Wow. Okay, cool.
All right. Okay. Superman pursues Cancer to the hole to stop him from telling Zod about his secret identity. Superman don't worry, Bendis will ruin that anyway. Oh, but the secret identity is finally back. Thank God.
Okay. I did not know it was gone. Thankfully.
Oh, that was a Bendis, another Bendis present.
Okay.
Yes. But it's finally back, yes. Lex Luthor used Manchester Black, put the secret identity back.
Okay.
Modern comics. Superman pursues Cancer the whole time. Superman wonders how far he will go to keep it. He plunges into the pit where the mysterious taunting force has been telling Cancer to tell Zod about Superman's secret without knowing what the secret is himself. The mysterious force only knows that the secret is important. All right, kids, here we go. You're wondering why are we talking about this? Superman comes in and bashes Cancer. There's a sentence. The mysterious person tells him not to slap around Cancer in his pad and to have a drink because this is the welcome back party for Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner.
Then Guy is shown much larger than Superman and in molten form. He tells Superman that after tonight, I cannot read this. Lilith, everyone, are you ready? He tells Superman that after tonight, his hole is all Superman's. Good night. All right, well, not here. Good night. That's William. Thank God Lilith is not here.
This one was actually hard for me to read, and I think now
yeah, if you're not reading it like week to week, month to month, I mean, yeah, it is hard. I mean, I haven't read this in a while, and I was just like, oh wait a minute, yeah. Now I'm remembering this, but yeah.
Well, and I think part of it was, I mean, the art is really stylized, and I really like it, but I think the coloring kind of muddies it because I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Because there's so much shape shifting, and it's not clearly defined, foreground, background, and all that, middle ground and all that stuff. So it was physically hard for me to read.
Yeah.
The story, I was like, oh, that's Zod. Okay, it was, you explained so much just at the beginning. I'm like, oh, I did not know that. No, I did not know that either. No, I did not know that either. As far as the story goes, I mean, I like Joe Kelly as a writer, but I don't know that this is one of his better stories. I mean, I love Crypto. I'm a dog person, definitely. So Crypto's awesome. But I really felt lost. I didn't know what the heck was going on in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was even looking at this to remind me. Yeah, this isn't a Kryptonian Zod. He's a Russian, basically. His parents were two Russian cosmonauts. They got hit with radiation while the mother was pregnant. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not even General Zod.
No. Well, that's the thing. They had him completely encased in armor, and like I don't know. I think Zod tried to play with it, where it's like, is this is this a Zod from Krypton? Is this the Zod he killed in the Pocket Universe? It's like, what Zod is this? But yeah, it's not even a Kryptonian Zod. Yeah, no.
Again,
Oh god,
totally
that's
lost.
oh,
Totally
th-
lost.
oh that's right, that's right. Because because the Russians take him in because I mean, he gets obsessed with Superman, and they have to put him in the armor and stuff to like filter this like sunlight and stuff. But then one day while in meditation, I do remember this. His mind was contacted by a soul of a being who hates Superman as much as he has grown to, a man named Zod. Zed decides that he will take the man's name, and under it, he will defeat Superman. So he was contacted by the soul of General Zod. 2002.
I-
Ion's not looking so bad, is it, Will?
This is post Triangle number of Superman books, right?
Yes. Yeah, because I think the triangles went to turn of the century. Yeah, and there's I had forgotten. I read these and I was like, yeah, I forgot how much was going on in these books.
Wow.
Zod,
Okay.
Emperor Joker. Yeah. Oh, and then this isn't even like the original Crypto either, because like Superman traveled to like a copy of Krypton, which I think is eventually revealed that I don't know if it was created by like Brainiac or Brainiac 13 or somebody, or eventually when they decide to get rid of it, they're like, because it's like, oh yeah, this was created, there was going to be a trap for Superman or something. He created like a perfect copy of Krypton. It's like, oh my god. Oh, this era was all messed up because remember in the I don't know, were you reading Superman in the 90s? They came up with a new bottle city of Kandor, but it wasn't Kryptonians. It was like a bunch of different alien races in there.
I
Like
don't
some
remember
wizard,
that.
some alien wizard or somebody had like all these alien races in there, almost like Brainiac does, but he just had them in a jar. But then in the early 2000s, like something happens and like all these alien races like evolve into Kryptonians or something. So you have a Kryptonian Kandor again.
I don't think that's how that works.
I know it's looking so bad, isn't it? Well, I'm telling
Oh
you,
wow.
I'm telling you, if you ever get sick of Green Lantern, we get extra time, we'll have to do electric mullet. I'm telling you.
The electric mullet.
Or oh my god, oh. Well, I mean, okay, this year for Patreon, we have to do an episode of the Quantum Zone. And maybe we just need to pick
An electric mullet special.
I need to go back and find like one or two of the most ridiculous Superman stories I can find, that we have to do an episode on that too.
Wow. I think I had most of like the Burn Superman, and then there's the Action Comics Weekly that I still need to grab, but I think I got most of Action that when Burn was doing it. It's like from
Yeah.
86, right?
Yeah.
And then I have a bunch of the Triangle stuff, pre Death of Superman, up to the Return and past. But I don't think I don't know that I made it all the way to 2000 with the Superman stuff. I think I may have dropped off before then.
Yeah, because just like with the Batman stuff, like I think they changed, like they got all new creative teams around 2000. So yeah.
Oh, and every time we talk about Batman around that time, I have to apologize to the creators because I thought
No Man's Land.
No Man's Land was just stupid, and then the U.S. government would never do that. I apologize for my stupidity. Yes, I know what happened with Hurricane Katrina, and so yeah, I apologize for my stupidity.
Small-minded people in government. Will, what were you thinking? Corruption? What are you talking about? A criminal in the White House? Come on.
Oh my God, it's been a long few years.
And thank you, No Man's Land.
Batman, my favorite character.
Chance never zero, right? All right. So we get to this last issue.
Let's do it.
All right, kids. One more last dive into that hole. All right, Action Comics 790. June 2002, Man and Beast Part 2. I believe this is the same team. Oh no, maybe different pencilers. Duncan Rallo and Creon Grant. Yeah. Inker Marlo Alquiza. I think everyone else is the same. So Superman and Krypto stand side by side in the Inferno, taunting his old comrade. Guy Gardner asks why Superman isn't happy to see him. Shaking off his shock and going on the offensive, Superman blasts the imps holding him and demands to know why this demonic creature is pretending to be Guy. Grabbing Superman, the demon pulls him close and whispers stories from the past into his ear. Superman is speechless, realizing that it really is Guy Gardner. From atop a rocky outcropping, Cancer argues that this wasn't the deal he had worked out, but Gardner ignores his disputes and touches a magical disc in Superman's head. Superman suddenly finds himself transported months into the past, again watching Peric's attack on the Earth. He sees Gardner impaled on a spear and presumed dead, but his Voldarian genes kept him alive, trying to regrow his body. As the probe traveled around the world, Guy was dragged with it, his body constantly adapting both to heal and to remain hidden. His body was destroyed and reformed time after time until he reassembled Hamburger, and no one ever came looking for him. When General Zod destroyed a probe, Gardner's probe was sent in as a replacement. Zod then proceeded to destroy that probe as well, and Gardner was plunged into hell. Sent into the gorge, Guy was slowly rebuilt from the pitiful remains into a version of his former self. Somehow he survived and thrived. In the gorge, he is a god. However, being a god in hell isn't worth much. Guy wants out, and that's where Superman comes in. Superman tries to apologize to explain that he and everyone close to Guy all thought he had died. At this, Gardner explodes, claiming that they forgot him and left him to rot in hell. All the heroes left him behind. Striking Superman across the face, Gardner sends him flying. Cancer suddenly leaps on the guy's back, demanding that Superman is his. Gardner simply swats him away. Superman recovers and knocks Gardner back with a mighty blow. Recovering, Guy covers Superman with a blast of fire breath. Guy tells Superman that he can't leave the gorge unless someone takes his place, and that someone is going to be Superman. Superman asks what happens if he refuses. Guy responds that nothing much happens except that Superman will have to kill Cancer because if he doesn't, Zod will have Lois dead by morning. Zod is approaching the gorge right now, fighting off the monsters that Guy has been unleashing on the country. He's coming for Cancer, and once Zod knows what Cancer knows, it's all over for Lois and Clark. Enraged, Superman demands to know how a former hero could sink to this level. Guy simply tells him that he is trapped in hell and he wants out. Down on the ground, Krypto suddenly enters the action with a roar. Krypto launches himself at Cancer and buries his teeth in the monster. Guy continues to tell Superman his future role. If he assumes control of the gorge, then he becomes all powerful within its walls. Not only could he wipe Cancer's memory of Lois, he could also kill Zod with a thought. Gardner demands that Superman choose. Standing up, Superman stops Krypto before he can kill Cancer with a quick command. No one is going to die. As Krypto bounds away obediently, Cancer questions why Superman would let him live. As Krypto lands at his master's feet, Superman bends down and tells Krypto to take care of Lois for him. Suddenly, Cancer springs to his feet and pushes Superman out of the way. Cancer lunges for the throne and seats himself upon it. Before Superman can intervene, the living gorge ties Cancer in and draws the entire throne into the earth. As Superman desperately tries to save Cancer from damnation, Guy Gardner looks skyward with a smile. The earth closes around Cancer as the two heroes vanish. Above, Zod kneels where the gorge once was. Picking up Cancer's chains, Zod realizes that this first defeat teaches a lesson. Put no faith in monsters, lest they be of your own blood. Rising into the sky, Zod soars away into the night, leaving behind a huge S symbol scorched into the earth. Somewhere, Superman and Guy sit upon beach chairs by the beach with Krypto stretched out between them. Shocked, Superman searches for an explanation before Guy provides one. He's a hero. He never really wanted to send Clark to hell. He knew that Cancer would take the seat. He figured that Cancer had killed enough people that he would be headed to hell anyway, but at least this way he got a way to redeem himself. Guy explains that he now knows how the world works. From now on, Gardner is going to clean up after the heroes. Superman tells Guy that this isn't over, but Gardner just brushes it aside. As a parting remark, Guy tells Superman to stop whining about everything going wrong in his life. He is Superman and he should act like it. Guy looks on as Superman streaks away into the sky. Coming up behind him, Guy turns to find a man in a hat and overcoat. The man asks Guy if he is having second thoughts about what he has done. Guy says no because he can accomplish much more out of the gorge than in. holding a small ball up. Guy examines the teleporter that allowed him to send Cancer into the fray in the first place. Gardner admits that he wishes it wasn't him, and he wouldn't have even taken the teleporter if he thought the cloaked figure could do Superman any harm. Superman means too much to the world, but if the man thinks he can take Superman down, then he might as well try. Gardner vanishes with a flash, warning the man that if he ever sees him again, he will kill him, then wishes him a nice day. Alone on the beach, the man crushes the teleporter in his fist and assures Guy that he plans to do just that. Yeah, if they revealed this, I can't remember who that is. So
No,
much.
so many unanswered questions.
I know. Yeah, they really tried to keep stuff continued. I do remember that much. But yeah, it's been a while since I read these. Okay, I get it. Why Gardner's like, why didn't you save me, Superman? You save everyone else. But shouldn't you be mad at me like, why didn't Kyle Rayner come looking for me?
Or John Stewart or Alan.
But as far as he knows, John's powerless. I could see that, but it's like, yeah, why weren't Cal or Alan come looking for me?
Yeah,
At least to like bury me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't even know it now. But why? The minute Cal becomes Ion, why isn't he like, oh hey, Guy's alive?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know Guy's alive now. I better go save him.
Or yeah, he's in hell. Maybe that power can pull him out. I don't know.
Yeah. And does now Guy have hell powers now, or is he just Guy?
I don't know, because that's what I'm saying. I don't know if anything Joe Kelly wrote for Guy ever really.
All right, I've got to look this up. Let's look at some Guy Gardner appearances here.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some, but I mean, I don't think there's any like big major appearances until Rebirth. But yes, there was a lot going on in Superman at this point.
Okay, let's see what we got here. There's Final Crisis, which we're not up to yet. Okay, Action Comics 790 is what we just read.
Yes.
And then looks like he appears in 836, so that would be 46 issues later, 4 years later, so that would be post. So this is post Rebirth. Okay, he must just appear in the background there. I don't know. Adventures of Superman, Birds of Prey. He does show up in Green Lantern 147. So that is.
Wait a minute, that's the one we just read.
Oh yeah, so I guess that's just background character. Okay.
Yeah, maybe in a flashback or something.
Yeah. He does show up in 150, which is July of 2002.
All right, well that's next week, so yeah, we'll.
And July of 2002, and this Action Comics was when?
Action 790 was June 2002.
Okay, so maybe they'll mention something about it. I wonder after that, where. Huh. I guess we'll see. That's so weird that. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. He died, right?
Uh-huh.
and it's not. And how long ago was this? I mean, this is still during Winnick's run.
Yeah. I mean, that was like, was that around? It was around issue one. It was somewhere between 140 and 142. So I mean, it was within the last like 5-6 months of what we read today.
Yeah, so you would think that there would have been something in the GL book that would have mentioned, oh yeah, Guy Gardner's dead, Warriors Bar, we're not having our weekly meetings or whatever.
Yeah, or at least say, hey, or even if you just had Cal say, I don't believe it, Guy can't be dead, but something.
Yeah.
But nothing. No mention of Guy at all.
Yeah, that is strange. Very strange.
Didn't even get a Hal Jordan funeral.
Yeah, I mean, I know he wasn't exactly well liked during this point, but actually he was a lot better liked as Warrior, you
Yeah.
know? Huh. The crossover stuff in early 2000s, right? There had to be one every other month.
I don't know, unless Winnick didn't want to touch Guy. I don't know.
Which is weird. I mean,
Or I'm trying to remember, was it Joe Kelly writing or Worlds at War? Or there might have been a few writers. He might have been one of them. I was gonna say, did he kill off Guy? And they're like, no, you killed him. You got to bring him back.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird because Winnick has touched on Alan, Jade, John Stewart. He's had Parallax show up weirdly.
The Spectre.
He's had the Spectre show up. So it's odd that he didn't have Guy show up at all. That is interesting. I hadn't realized that.
Yep.
I also thought this issue was hard to read. So
Yeah. There was so much because again, I haven't read these in a while, and I was like, wait. Oh yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, and I'd read these before, and I was like, wait, what's going on?
And I really, really like Joe Kelly's work. I
Yeah.
mean, didn't he? What was the issue of Action Comics? What's so great about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? Didn't
Oh
you
yeah,
like
what
that
it
one?
was, it was that like I think it's seven. It might be 775, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first one. That's the first appearance of, like Manchester Black and the Elite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even did an animated version of the movie of that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been like
It was before this. Yeah. Like a year.
late '90s, right?
I don't know. Wait. Well, this is
Oh, this
789.
is 39 and
Yeah, this
879, 890. So
775. So yeah. So this
that
is
would have been 100 issues. That'd have been 8 years, right?
no,
When
no,
did
no,
that
no,
come out?
no. Only no. Seven. No, we're only what 15 issues before this. 775,
Oh, because we were reading
789, and 790. Yeah.
790, not 800. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. All right, awesome. Because that's a really good issue too,
Yeah.
and Kelly's a really good writer. I mean, I love what he did on Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These two issues are probably not the best representation of his work.
I know. Again, was this a plot device to bring Guy back?
I, I'm going to ask a stupid question. One, why kill him
Yeah.
if you're just going to bring him back? I mean, you killed a lot of people. You killed, I'm using air quotes here, a lot of people in Our Worlds at War. What's one more or less? I mean, Guy Gardner.
I know we're still a way out from Rebirth, but I'm like, do you think there's any rumblings at this point that maybe we're bringing back a Green Lantern Corps or anything? Or are they just like, let's keep Guy Gardner alive just in case anything shakes out for a new Corps or whatever? Because again, we're how many months into, we're like what 10 months maybe from John Stewart getting a ring again. So are they just like,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because there's still a good solid 3 years out from Rebirth, right? I mean, 81, right? It's the last issue,
yeah, but I was gonna do
and
we
that's a
go?
good 34 issues out at least.
Yeah, but I mean, we're up to what, like June 2002. When was Rebirth? Or was it the end of Oath? Was it?
End of 2004, early
Oh,
2000,
okay.
or was it end of 2005? I don't know. I'd have to look. So I don't think that there's rumblings yet.
I'm
I
thinking we're
mean,
like a year out, but yeah, we're more like 2 or more years out. Okay.
mhm. No, knowing DC, I don't think that they plan that far
No.
ahead. So, it's weird. Guy. Granted, this is not the guy that we've come to know and love, right? But it's weird that he's kind of been excluded from the book. I mean, first off, to kill him off not in Green Lantern is
Yeah.
one thing, right? But then to bring him back, also not in Green Lantern, it's just freaky. I mean, why kill him off in the first place if you're just going to bring him back? I mean, I don't understand that one, so I'm just gonna. Hey, Guy Gardner's back. Great.
All right. Anything else?
I got nothing, man.
I was gonna say, yeah, because you mentioned 150. Yes, next week we'll be doing one Green Lantern 148 through 150. So
Mhm.
kind of tie some of this Ion stuff up. And then in 2 weeks we're back to the Spectre for Spectre 18 through 23.
Nice. And then after that, do we finish the Spectre off?
No, we'll have 2 more weeks of Green Lantern 151 and 152, and then Green Lantern 153 through 155, and then we'll finish off the Spectre after those 2 with 24 through 27. So
Wheat.
and like
Very
I said,
cool.
the JLA Spectre Soul War after that, the week after that.
So, is there somebody we could contact at DC or something? Why has the Spectre not been collected? I mean, I think that's a valid question. It is a beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
series, and I don't just mean the art. I mean, it's beautiful. It is a really excellent work.
I don't know who we would talk to, because even JMD Mateus, who wrote that series, and like they had line over at Marvel, they haven't collected a lot of his Spider-Man stuff, and he's just like he has no idea why. So it's like
strange, very strange. Because I mean, I would think that it would be an obvious for an omnibus. I mean,
oh yeah, 27 issues.
27 issues, and it's got some. I mean, it's got some stellar names attached to it. JMD Mateus is, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So, it's got Ryan Sook. It had crap. There's so many artists on it that I can't even think of all of them right now.
I mean, and you want to write a hell of an omnibus, put all those issues in there, and I mean, you could have notes or like essays from like DeMatteis, Ryan Sook can give you,
Put the JLA Soul War issues
Yeah.
in there. Put the JSA issues in there that the Spectre shows up in. I mean, and there you go. I mean, you could probably throw in the main, Day of Vengeance.
Yeah.
Day of Vengeance. Is that right? Yeah.
Is it Vengeance or Judgment? I can't remember.
Day of Judgment. Day of Judgment. I always mix that up.
And then that JLA issue, which I didn't DeMatteis write that too.
I think he even wrote that too. Yeah. I mean, and you're still what, under 50 issues? I mean,
you can even throw in that issue Green Lantern when Hal comes to talk to Kyle. You could pretty much probably almost put everything he was the Spectre in one volume.
Pretty much, yeah. You could put everything that he was Parallax in like a slim trade. It's like 7 or 8 appearances.
The Hal Jordan collection. Yeah, you get him. One volume is Parallax, one is Spectre, and then volume 3 opens up with Rebirth.
What? I've never heard of this Rebirth, Phil. What are you talking about? What is this story?
Oh, good. Well, when we get there in a few weeks, yes.
I'm curious if there's anybody that we could reach out to, or that DeMatteis could reach out to, because I mean, I really feel like if you're going to collect something, that's such a wonderful work to collect. I mean, and I am genuinely surprised that it's not collected.
Maybe I'll just reach out. I mean, he's already given us so much of his time, but maybe like when we get through the last couple issues, maybe see if Mr. DeMatteis will join us one day to, talk about the Spectre series at least.
I mean, because again, I'm coming at it as someone who did not want to like it, who thought the premise
Oh,
was
yeah.
stupid, and it's so not what I was expecting, and in a very, very positive way, and it's moving and beautiful. It's just it is really, really something that people should read.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I don't know if that's one of the things that, turn the tide where they're like, oh yeah, we need to bring Hal Jordan back. He can be written well and
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, it's just I'm genuinely looking forward to us finishing this. Well, not finishing it. I'm looking forward to continue reading it, and then I will probably be a little depressed when it's over. But it's because it's really, I mean, the quality of that book is just
oh yeah.
off the charts. It really is a wonderful book, and
Oh yeah.
I think part of I think a lot of fans of Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, myself included at the time, didn't pick it up because
Oh yeah, me neither.
it's going to be. I don't want to see Hal as the Spectre as
Yeah.
no, just no. It's stupid.
And they really didn't promote it that well.
Yeah, and then, but the book is so not what you would expect. I mean, it's not more of Hal. Oh, I don't want to be vengeancey, die, and a pencil sharpener. It's not that. He really tries to make it about redemption. I mean, that's what the whole book is about, is redemption. And there's some really beautiful stories in there, because there's a lot of single issue stories, where Hal's, there's that vampire story. What was that? 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. I can't remember. And he shows up at the end.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
even, I mean, it's just,
Barely a Hal Jordan story, yeah.
yeah, I mean, and there's so many stories that, it gets very metaphysical. It's really an interesting and exceptionally well done series.
Oh,
I can't say that enough. It's wonderful.
oh yeah. Exactly. Like I said, I might have to reach out to him when we get closer to that last episode of it. So
And see how, yeah, because yeah, it'd be interesting to talk to him about it, because it's 27 issues. That's not nothing. Okay, that's
especially by today's standards, yeah, ain't no.
yeah. What goes 27 issues, right? Well, if we use legacy numbering, maybe we can get to 27. Sorry. That was mean. I'm a mean person. I'm a bad man.
All right, let's get out of here. But yes, next week, Green Lantern 148 through 150. So yeah, we'll have an oversized issue there. All right, so send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find Sector 2814 on Facebook, on Twitter. Find Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks on Instagram, Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network on Hive, and go subscribe. Well, I guess I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because today was the day. As we're recording this, it happened today, Will.
What happened?
269 subscribers. You're welcome, Will Hellfire.
Nice.
Now the road to 369 begins and beyond. But yes, you're welcome, Will Hellfire 269. So help us climb to 369. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Everything we do, including this episode, gets a video. So smash that subscribe button for us, kids.
Smash it.
And of course, the Patreon, because once again, we're paying for this out of our own pocket. Every little bit helps. With $3 to $5 gets you early access to creator interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
Always, you want to know behind the scenes stuff? Yes, check out the Chichester chats. Superhero movie brackets are over, thank God. But you can listen to every episode of my Pain Now.
Phil, I've got to correct you one thing here. I don't think God had anything to do with the superhero movie brackets.
Oh no, yes, that's true. It was all the hellfire, but yes, one and dones. We'll be doing on Patreon this year, and if you're a patron, you can send us suggestions. Justin has sent us a few. Like again, I believe Will and I are going to be dusting off some at least one episode of Quantum Zone. So always a good time.
Maybe we can get a Quasar appearance before then. That would be cool.
I know. The Guardians. Anytime the Guardians show up anymore, I don't see them. Or at either one of them, and I'm like, come on.
I mean, I thought that Al Ewing had some plans, right? But he's sorry,
he's not. Yeah,
he's not on the book anymore, right?
Nope. I don't know. There's not even like a regular Guardians book right now, so it's Maybe by the time 3 comes out, I don't know. Because what is that? I think in May, Guardians 3 comes out.
And next month is
Man in the Wasp, Quantumania. Yeah, I guess there's a second trailer out. I haven't watched it yet, but I guess people on the internet who may not be comic book savvy are just like, I guess MODOK's in it, and they're like, "Ooh, MODOK's ugly looking." It's like, yeah, it's MODOK. It's a giant fucking head.
Modam.
No, Doc. All right. So, yes, please subscribe to the Patreon or pick yourself up some Capes Lunatics and Capes Lunatics Sidekicks merch. Find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All right. Mr. William Allred, Master of the Core, Master of the aforementioned Quantum Zone, Master of Kickstarter and podcasts. Where can people get a hold of you?
You can find me at Wallred. That's WALLRED at Gmail and Twitter and Facebook and probably Instagram and maybe Hive and Mastodon. There's all over the place. Just, you can find me. If you can't find me, you're not looking that hard. If you really want to read any of my comics work, Crossover Division, you can check that out at thank you. CrossoverDivision.com. In fact, guess what was sent to the printer just today?
Number 4.
Number 4 has been sent to the printer. So the digital rewards will be going out for that shortly. And you can also check out Diary of Night at diaryofnight.com. I also annoy other podcasters besides Phil. That would be Kevin Joseph, also the writer of Tart. And we have a show every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time called Explain Yourself, where we bring on comic book Kickstarter creators and discuss their ongoing projects and try to bring more attention to crowdfunding comics and things like that. And finally, you obviously have great taste. You're here listening to the show. That means you love Quasar as well, and of course, you should. And if you want to find out more about Quasar, you can always do that at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
All right, let's get some drops here.
I'll put it in my navel.
Hey, boys, you look at the party. I love the party. I am God. I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
Of course.
And of many sides. All right. Thank you for joining us. Again, 1 week, Green Lantern 148 through 150. Get to the bottom of this Ion mess.
This Ion Storm?
Oh, yes. Yes, and then we'll get back to some more Spectre. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming this year. We got the end of March, we got our JLA Avengers crossover. What? Yes. And what is it? Either April or May. We have a certain story named Rebirth. I can't wait to introduce Will to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've heard some good things, man.
All right. But until then, come back next time. And remember, watch those holes. Good night.